This is Pamukkale, one of Turkey's natural wonders and one of the world's most noteworthy mineral hot springs. People have come here for centuries for mineral baths and to dip their toes in the water flowing over these travertine terraces. The snow-white limestone here is the result of warm springs, whose water for millennia has poured over the hillside, much of it collecting in pools on its descent into the valley below.
In case you're wondering, the name Pamukkale means cotton castle in Turkish, which makes a lot of sense considering the astonishing whiteness of this hillside. Yesterday, when I arrived by train, I could see this place from probably 30 kilometers away.
As you can imagine, in the town below the magical hillside, it's all about the water.
These terraces are more than just a natural wonder. The hot springs were, of course, the driving force behind the establishment of the ancient city of Hierapolis, which is just at the top of the hill where I'm headed. But first, we have a lot of climbing to do. They don't allow you to wear shoes or socks on the travertine, so a good idea is when you come is bring a backpack and maybe a plastic bag inside for your shoes.
And by the way, the irregular surface of the travertine doesn't do any favors for your feet.
I'm your buddy. It's hard to believe, but until about 40 years ago, there were several hotel spas built over the travertine. They were demolished in the 1980s ahead of Pamukkale's being designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, along with Hierapolis. Still, the hotel era did damage to the travertines. And today, those areas that were damaged are off limits to walking, in hopes of restoring them to their former glory. So I've spent the better part of a very enjoyable morning walking on the travertines of Pamukkale. And now I'm at the top, shoes back on, walking along a boardwalk where few people are around. So what's next? How about the ancient ruins of Hierapolis? I'm approaching an east gate of Hierapolis. On each side of the gateway are two very distinct images, one of a bull and another of a lion. In some ways, this doesn't seem like walking through a ruin at all, especially the ruin of a once great city. It's more like a pleasurable walk in the country with flowers in bloom, the sounds of birds and bees, and nothing but blue sky amidst all these marvelous stones. I'm on a trail that leads up to the ancient theater, and show you where we're headed. This theater dates to the 1st century BC, but was remodeled several times. The last time in the 4th century CE, when the stage was transformed into a pool for water performances. I'm sitting in the upper mezzanine of the theater and looking straight down an aisleway that looks, well, a little less than regulation for modern times.
From here, splendid views, with the snow-capped mountains behind the city of Denizli 20 kilometers away.
Hierapolis was a center for healing as far back as the 2nd century BC, and that role expanded under the Romans. But while the mineral baths were always at the forefront, the ancient settlement here is noteworthy in history for at least a couple of other reasons, just before and after the time of Christ. There were an estimated 50,000 Jews living here around 27 BC. And the city became home to a Christian community as the result of the Apostle Paul's outreach from Ephesus, about 100 miles west of here. Taking a small rest and sitting down on a rock. Actually, that's not true. It's not a rock. It's part of an ancient column that apparently sits where it fell.
This is the city's main entrance, as it looked originally. And this is how it appears today. A short distance apart, a temple to the god Apollo, and the reputed grave of the Christian evangelizer Philip. And then there's this, not what you would normally expect of a World Heritage Site. Visitors frolicking in a kind of oasis pool strewn with ancient columns. one can both gaze up at the Temple of Apollo and chow down on burgers and ice cream at a shop of the same name. Not that that should dissuade anyone from visiting this amazing place. A long day on the travertine and in Hierapolis can leave you hungry. But if you choose to skip past the eateries on the main drag in favor of Pamukkale's side streets, maybe, like me, you won't be disappointed. And if you're able, you can kick back and let the day pass peacefully, surrounded by nature.